I'm married for 10 years, dated 3 before that, we have 2 kids. Her parents are divorced. Her mom comes from a wealthy family, and when her parents got married her family did a lot of legal and financial stuff and prenups and stuff to keep the money safe. Growing up her mom was busy a lot and was the primary breadwinner. Her dad really was the one who raised her. He was the one who took her and picked her up from school, who helped her with her homework and went to her shows, plays, games, etc. When she was 12 it turned out her mom had been having an affair and it led to her parents divorcing. This is where her mom's family's money comes in. They were able to afford very good lawyers and her money had already been locked up tight, so she wound up with custody and he left the marriage with not very much to his name, and since he had spent so much time raising her, he had neglected his own career. He struggled after that. My wife has a fraught relationship with her mother. She never really forgave her mother for the affair, the divorce, and her destroying his life. Once she was a teenager she chose to move in with her dad. So that's a bit of background. She remained close to her dad to this day. He's been an active part of our lives and he spends a lot of time with our kids, who both love him, but he's been struggling. COVID was really hard for him because he really couldn't work. He fell behind on his bills and he's been struggling to catch up ever since. He's now about to be evicted. My wife wants him to move in with us. She says it's absolutely unacceptable to her for him to be homeless when we have a basement we can move him into. Thing is, the basement is my space. It's set up to be my retreat and she now wants to turn it into a bedroom for him. We've been arguing about this because she says she won't allow him to be homeless, and my point is he won't be homeless. He has a place he can go with his sister, but she lives on the other side of the country. My wife hates that idea. She says she wants him to be a part of her and our kids' lives and not on the other side of the country. He's not a bad guy, I don't hate him or anything, I just want some space for our family. My wife's position is that he is family, and he can help with the kids. She's accusing me of caring more about my man cave than the well-being of her father. That's an exaggeration. He isn't going to be homeless, he can move in with his sister. This argument is starting to become pretty ugly now, and she's threatening to take the kids and move out to find a place with him if I won't agree to let him move in here. I resent that threat. I'm starting to wonder if this is really a hill I should die on. On the other hand, I'm shocked and angry that my wife seems ready to throw away our whole marriage over this. My wife doesn't work on call in a high-pressure job as a surgeon like I do. She doesn't need a space to unwind after she loses a patient like I do. Husband, I haven't spoken to or seen my dad in 22 years. I could not care less if he was homeless, and I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. For all I know he could be homeless now and I'd just laugh and tell him he deserved it. I don't plan to see my father again until he's in his coffin. And I'll only go to his funeral and deliver a eulogy to remind everyone what a garbage person he is. Update 1. Just so everyone knows whose side you're all taking here. She's a spoiled rotten princess who grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth. Everything she has was given to her. Between my salary and the trust fund her grandparents left her, she doesn't need to work, but she does anyways and complains she needs her dad's help with the kids. I'm a surgeon and she's an interior designer. Which one of us contributes more to humanity? She's a shallow, vapid woman who decorates houses while I'm saving lives. My husband, ND, is a surgeon. And according to him he's the most important person in the world. A god among men who casually determines life or death and is far, far too important to be bothered by the trivial concerns of us mere peons. Concerns like maybe you should spend some time with your fucking kids. But oh no. You see, he works so hard and has so much pressure that when he's home he has to be sequestered from the annoying sounds of our girls playing or being happy to see him. My dad has picked up the slack. He's been the one that's changed their diapers. I drop them off at school and go to work. Dad picks them up and stays with them till I get home. My dad was the one who taught them to ride a bike. My dad is the one who shows up to the plays and dance recitals. He's the one that helps with the homework. My dad is the one who dresses as Santa. My dad is the one who does the Easter egg hunts and the tea parties. My husband is far too important for any of that. And despite the fact that my husband has absolutely no interest in our kids, he is still pissed that the kids are closer to my dad than him. So my dad is now struggling financially. We have the means to help him. But my husband doesn't want to. He'd rather see my dad move to the other side of the country and removed from our kids' lives. I put my foot down and he goes on to Reddit to whine about it. Well, now I'm here too, dear. You want to whine about our marriage on Reddit? I can do it too. Wife, the kids love him. He's been a daily fixture in their lives since they were born. They know him better than they know their father. I'm not a stay-at-home parent. I also have a job. I'm also the only parent in this marriage. Everyone acts like I'm not working full-time too. But I still manage to make time for the kids. I get the kids up and dressed for school. My dad picks them up and stays with them until I get home. Kids get out at 3, I'm home by 6. My dad is there to pick the kids up and stays till I get home. Husband, ND, has no parts in this. Wife, I've heard this before but nothing ever changes. He complains and then tells me he has to go out of state to some medical conference and we'll talk about it later, and we never do. He just text messaged me now. I have surgery, we'll talk about this tonight. Yeah, he always has surgery when we need to talk about this. It's like clockwork. It never fails. Wife, everyone keeps acting like it's all his money. Well, it isn't. I work too, And my family helped us with the house and his medical school debt. I'm done. This isn't about the man cave or the space, and you know it. We have the money to help my dad. We have a 7-bedroom fucking house with a pool house and a movie theater. This isn't about space or money. This is about you being petty and jealous that the girls are closer to my dad than you. Get this through your thick fucking head. That's your fault. For 9 years everything else in your life has been more important than the girls. You work 70 hours a week, and when you're not at work you go golfing with the people you work with, or you're at a medical conference with the people you work with, or you're dragging me to some fundraiser with the people you work with. When you are at home you need to sequester yourself because the sound of my children playing annoys you. You seem to conveniently forget that they're your children too. You only seem to remember that part when I want to move my father in to help me with our girls. It's amazing how you can be so smart and so fucking stupid at the same time. You're upset the girls love dad more than you. And you're such a petty and small man that your solution is to ship him off out of their lives and break our girls' hearts. But you don't plan to actually be a part of their lives. You just want my dad gone. I won't fucking let you take him out of their lives. The family is me, the girls and my father. Your family are the people you work with, and you're married to your job, not me. Well, you can have it. Aunt, come home. I'm done trying to make this marriage work. I'm done begging you to be a father. The girls won't miss you anyways. You've never shown an interest in their lives, and I am done letting you hurt and neglect my children. They deserve someone in their lives that loves and cares for them and shows interest in them. You don't. Update 2. He said awful things. Just awful. About me, my dad and the girls. After he left, I talked to my mom. We have a difficult relationship, but if there's one person I want in my corner going into the divorce, it's her. The divorce is happening. I saw an attorney my mom recommended today. I'm really glad I went through with that prenup my mom wanted when we got married now. At this point I won't speak to my STB ex-husband. My lawyer is doing my talking for me. I'm exhausted. Thank you everyone for all the support. It helped to read the comments and know people supported me. He made me feel so small and stupid yesterday, and he said awful things about our girls. I'm not mad anymore. I'm just heartbroken. Our girls deserve better than this. I really wanted better for them. I just wanted to have a family and a nice home. Now I'm just going through a divorce like my parents. I never wanted this. I tried so hard to keep this all together so we didn't wind up here. But I failed. When I met him he was in medical school and working as a paramedic. He moved into my apartment and I covered the expenses so he could quit working and focus on medical school full time. He didn't have a problem with me being an interior designer then, and he didn't resent my trust fund when it was paying for our apartment. What was his self-admitted reason for marrying you? You have to understand that this was not about space or money like he claimed. His goal was to get my father out of our lives. My dad leaving our lives was the solution he wanted. Any solution that kept him in our lives he had a problem with. He wasn't like this when we met. And in defense of my mom, for as difficult as things have been with us over the years, I don't question that she loves me. We've had our differences and our fights, but when I need her she comes through like she is now and like she did with the wedding, and God bless her for her foresight and having the prenup made. What she did to my dad will never sit right with me, but she's in my corner, and right now I'm glad to have both my parents in my corner. I don't want the girls living with someone they are afraid of. It was only tolerable because of how little he was around. I don't think my failure was in having my kids with him. It was in keeping this marriage together and giving him a home and family he actually wanted to come back to. Update 3. Hi everyone. I'm back. My husband is now my ex-husband. Our state you only need 30 days between filing and judgment. We both agreed divorce was best. He moved out New Year's Day and has never been back. My original post sorta went viral. It was reshared on TikTok and on Facebook, and our family and friends wound up seeing it. My lawyer recommended I stop posting about the divorce until it was finalized. Well, the divorce is now done. After he moved out we both retained our lawyers and most of the divorce was handled through them. We didn't speak much until we went into final arbitration and signed the agreements to bring to the judge. About a week after I retained my attorney, I had my attorney, his attorney and some movers meet at my house to inventory everything that belonged to him, including in his man cave, pack it up and ship it out to a storage unit his lawyer arranged. I didn't want to give him any reason to come after me for anything. I know people wanted me to nail him to the wall, but I really didn't want a long and bitter divorce. He wanted to go, I wanted him gone, and we both wanted it to happen as soon as possible. Turns out he was offered a job in another state, and he wanted to take and was itching to get out of here. We both had prenups that made the division of assets pretty painless, and he had no problem with giving me full custody and paying child support. I didn't need or ask for spousal support. Honestly, how little he fought for our girls was the part that hurt me the most. The biggest disagreement we had was with the house. My mom stepped up to buy him out of the mortgage payments he put down so that me, the girls, and my dad wouldn't have to move. He really wanted this done as fast as he could so he could ride off into the sunset with his affair partner and take his new job. And that's exactly what he did. He got the ending he wanted. Free of me and the kids and free to be the world's best surgeon or whatever. Mom and dad both came through for me in big ways. Mom is a lawyer herself and she had set up the house and my other assets to be protected. She also was the one to get me my lawyer. Dad moved into the pool house and that's where he's going to stay. My dad is going to enjoy his golden years being pop to our girls and dad to me. I'll make sure he won't have to worry about anything. My daughter's 10th birthday was 2 weeks ago. My husband promised her he would fly out for it. I made this party a really big deal. I hired performers, rented a bouncy castle, had all her classmates over, most of my family was there. My mom and dad were able to be in the same place and not fight. We had a really great time. And he never showed up. She got a card from him the day after her party with a lame apology and a $500 gift card. I asked her if she was okay and she shrugged. She had a great time at her party and didn't expect her dad to show. She knows he doesn't love her. That's what she told me. She wasn't really upset about it either. She's 10 years old and already expects him to disappoint her. It breaks my heart. But she's a trooper and she didn't let it stop her from enjoying her day. I realized that for years, I've been trying to make a home for him to come home to, but he's had one foot out the door and I've been holding his hand trying to keep him from going. I finally let go. I'm doing better than I thought I would, to be honest. And the girls are too. I don't really miss him. The girls don't really miss him. I'm not even angry about the affair. She can have him. I'm just disappointed. The shallow vapid woman who decorates houses while he's saving lives, right? Oop, he could just never wrap his head around that. That I wanted to work, that I like my career, that I have relationships with clients and contractors and vendors and an office staff. It was a constant argument with us. There were multiple stressors that broke our marriage. This was a big one. His steady insistence I quit my job, close up my business and stay at home. But, I'm also a lazy, entitled, spoiled rotten princess. So who the fuck knows? Oop, things with my mom are getting better. And amazingly, things between my mom and dad are getting better as well. They both showed up for my daughter's 10th and didn't fight or make catty remarks to each other or side-eye each other, or glare or any of it. I said it in another comment, but ironically my marriage dissolving has done more to heal the rest of my family than anything else has. My ex-husband was never a very present father. He's a surgeon and spent most of his time either working or doing something with his coworkers. He was rarely ever home, and when he was, he mostly wanted to be left alone to hang out by himself in his man cave. He didn't like the girls being loud or playful because it disturbed him. Our daughters have always walked on eggshells around them and has never taken much of an interest in their lives. So, we just finalized our divorce. He couldn't wait to get out of the marriage. He wanted to be done with this marriage and our kids so he could take a new job in another state and live with his affair partner. I asked for full custody, and he was relieved. He didn't want custody, he didn't fight at all for them. He hasn't even seen them since the day he moved out 2 months ago. He's gone now in another state, and my oldest had her 10th birthday about 2 weeks ago. I threw a really huge party for her. I made it a really big deal and he promised her he would be there. He never showed. We get a card with a lame apology and a gift card from him a day after her birthday. I felt so bad for her, and what makes it worse is, she wasn't even upset. I asked her how she felt about it and she shrugged. She said she wasn't surprised, and that dad didn't really love them. What the hell do I say to that? I'm at a loss for words because, I don't believe he loves them either. Do I lie to them? Tell them of course he does, Hess just busy. What do I tell her? The truth? No, he doesn't real love you? I have no idea what to say to my girls. Should I even bring it up? Just not talk about it at all? Just leave the fact that their dad doesn't give a shit and has pretty much abandoned them? Just carry on as usual, because let's be honest, he hasn't been a part of our lives for a long time. He never really was. Not that much has changed for the girls besides the fact that they don't need to walk on eggshells for the 1 or 2 days a month he was even at home. I just don't know. Both the girls are in therapy now. We all are. Maybe this is something I should bring up there. Now on to second story. Took in my late friend's beloved but aggressive cat, and now it's trapped in my garage, trying to dodge my territorial dog. 2 days ago, a good friend died. I'm not going into specifics. He was old, he was on oxygen, and he could barely move around. One of the few things he had going in his life was his cat, which we'll call Satan for now. He loved that cat, and while the animal was around him it seemed to be polite enough not to try attempted murder. When I got the notice my friend was in the ER, I met with his son there, and by the email we got there it was too late. I knew his cat was one of the few things he cared about and offered to go to my friend's apartment to feed it. He declined, saying he'll get to it later. The next day, he asked if I would be willing to take the cat. Not gonna lie, I said yes because I loved my friend and because I didn't want the one thing that kept him constant company on his last days to get outdone. I went to my friend's apartment and tried to get the cat into a pet crate, and the animal fought so hard against me that it both broke the crate's door and shit itself. I bought a jumbo crate, 3x3x4, with 2 levels and put it in my garage, with a litter box and some food inside the crate. I know this is not an ideal accommodation for Satan, but I don't know where else to put him. My brother-in-law suggested releasing it into the wild. Satan lived its whole life in my friend's apartment and I don't know how it'd fare outside. I have a dog, to boot. A very excitable, very curious, very old, very territorial Jack Russell / Rat Terrier mix. I see no way of letting Satan into the main side of the house without an accident occurring. I can't let Satan roam free in the garage because it 1. Will destroy my brother-in-law's tools. I've seen it go through furniture like a wood chipper. 2. It will go into the attic of the house, which has a bunch of loose insulation, and if it shits in there the smell will stay in the rental house forever. And 3. Someone will inevitably leave the garage open where it'll escape. I don't know what to do. Satan's been here less than a day and all I know from it is hissing and defensive shitting. Update 1. After 3 days of keeping Satan in the crate, I realized 2 things. 1. That if I was kidnapped by a random guy coming into my house and brought to a new place, then kept in a cage 24/7, I wouldn't be too friendly either. And 2. That I can't keep a cat in a cage indefinitely and just hope the situation magically improves somehow. Besides, I'm kind of tired of getting my hands fucked with every time I try to feed him. So my wife, the fucking trooper, she and I decided to make a big compromise and started sleeping in the living room, leaving the cat to be out of the cage completely in my room. The first 3 days, he would either run under my bed or into my closet and stare at me with wide eyes while making low guttural noises. On the 4th day, I decided I would start to talk to it, mainly out of frustration, and start explaining to Satan that although I get it, he needs to chill the fuck out. He seems incredibly confused by this. Eventually this seemed to work, and despite still not wanting to be touched, he stopped growling at me and signaling an imminent attack. That day I learned that cats understand tone like dogs. This talking to him continued throughout the week and drove Satan to come out of the closet or under the bed while I was in the room, but if I moved at all he'd hiss and dart back to cover. Eventually something changed at the start of the 2nd week and Satan started to get on the bed while I was in the room, which led into him getting on top of furniture while I was in the room. All throughout the ordeal I'm looking at cat body language videos to try and understand the animal. Also, I'm the only one feeding him and trying to get him to be okay with me being around while he eats. Somehow, one day I go into the room and, seeing him on the bed, I decide to plop down next to him to see if he'll attack me. He moves slowly, but doesn't attack. I look away from him, lean back and stay there for a while, pretending like this is not a terrible inconvenience for either of us. Satan obliged me and played along. Moving into the 3rd week, I can sit in the bed and lay next to Satan and he shows no signs of aggression, so I try my next move, putting one of my extremities right next to him. I do this many times a day, acting like it's not a big deal, and eventually while laying next to him, I ch him with my knee. I figured if he goes into attack mode, I'd rather have the sweet protection of thick denim. Satan immediately protests but doesn't move away, so midweek I try to touch him with my arm and to my surprise he's okay with that too. By this point I've also made a habit of cleaning his box and opening the blinds for him in the morning so he'll be able to look out the window. I slow blink before leaving to work and he slow blinks back. Before I knew it, it was the 4th week and Satan's letting me pet him for short periods of time and only certain parts of his back, before hissing or lightly swatting, as opposed to the vicious war crimes he was trying to pull off initially. It's the middle of the 4th week and at this point, we've built enough of a tacit communication that I feel comfortable fully petting him, talking to him, and letting him walk around the house while my dog's out on a walk. At this point, I come in the room every day in the morning to change and talk to Satan, and he talks back and demands to be petted by me. On my off days, I go in the room and he'll follow me around. By the end of the 4th week, I play with Satan and he lets me pick him up. I finally realize he was actually a very sweet, super scared kitty that needed to feel safe and be given space, and furthermore everything negative that happened was my fault for not understanding him and pressuring him. By then, I already feel he's social enough that I can offer him around, but just for good measure I keep him for one more, 5th week, which was enough for me to bond with him and feel bad about giving him away. My wife and I discuss whether or not to keep him, but my dog, who's named after a Mexican narco, but that's a different story, ends up going after a cat when we're walking him. It was dark, and getting hurt, which ends that line of thinking. The week went by smoothly, and I managed to get his medical records from my friend's family and the hospital Satan was Ken too. 6th week, I take to Facebook and, with due disclaimers, I offer him around. Satan, older cat, needs a new home. Former cat of a loner, affectionate but needs house without children or other pets, is curious and playful once it gets comfortable. A lot of people offer to take Satan into their homes, and a lot of people don't meet the requirements I outlined. Eventually someone reaches out to me and not only are they a perfect fit for him, they understand all the constraints that go into adapting an older cat into a new home. They came yesterday and I didn't even struggle to get him into the carrier they brought. I went into their home today to take some of Satan's playthings as well as some food I had left over, and although he was hiding under the bed and marooned, he peeked out on the halfway while my wife and I talked to his new owners. I stress to these people that if they have any big issues with him he's 100% returnable, but, unlike me, this isn't their first adopted cat. We promised to keep in touch, and I came back and cleaned up my room to sleep in it. One of my knuckles is fucked forever, and I will absolutely never have a cat ever again, but it was a great experience nonetheless. The fucking end, I hope.